The story begins in the middle of the night. No music, no build-up. Just a woman lying perfectly still in bed, eyes wide open, waiting. Her name is Cecilia, and she has spent months planning this exact moment. Every detail, the sedative she put in his wine, the bag already packed and hidden inside a secret cubby in the closet, the route memorized. She moves through the house in total silence, so controlled that she barely breathes. She avoids the motion sensor. She unlocks the gate by hand. She slips out into the dark. The man sleeping in that house is Adrian Griffin. He is brilliant, wealthy, and controlling in ways that go so far beyond the word controlling that the word barely fits anymore. He did not hit her first. He started with how she looked, what she wore, what she ate, when she could leave, what she was allowed to say, and eventually, what she was allowed to think. And then, when the thoughts were not the right ones, he found other ways to make his point. He also wanted a baby. Specifically, he wanted a baby as a chain. Cecilia knew that if they had a child together, she would never be able to leave, so she secretly took birth control without him knowing, or so she believed. Cecilia got out, but getting out of the house is not the same as getting away. She runs to her sister Emily's car waiting down the road. She almost makes it. Adrian wakes up somehow through the sedative, and he comes after her screaming. His hand smashes through the car window. Emily floors it. They get away. And in the chaos, Cecilia drops something on the road outside Adrian's house. The bottle of diazepam she used to sedate him. She does not know yet how important that detail will become. Cecilia ends up at the home of James, a police detective and old family friend, living with his teenage daughter Sydney. She barely leaves the house. She barely sits near windows. She checks the street before every meal. James is patient with her. Sydney is warm with her. They become something like family, but Cecilia is not healing. She is waiting for what she knows is coming. Then news arrives. Adrian Griffin is dead, apparent suicide. His brother Tom, a lawyer, delivers the information in person, along with an offer. Adrian left Cecilia $5 million in his trust, $100,000 a month for 4 years. All she has to do is stay out of legal trouble and remain of sound mind. Cecilia does not celebrate. She does not feel relief. She feels more afraid than before. And then the strange things start happening. It starts so small that she almost convinces herself she is imagining it. The covers on her bed pulled off while she sleeps. Camera flashes in the dark of her room. A dent in the cushion of an armchair that was not there a moment ago. She reaches for the sheet on her bed one night, and something is holding the other end of it. She does not see anyone, but something stops it from moving. Then her portfolio disappears right before a job interview. Not misplaced, gone. She faints during the interview itself, and the hospital calls to tell her there was a high concentration of diazepam in her blood, a sedative. The exact same one she used on Adrian the night she escaped. And then the bottle she dropped on the road outside his house the night she ran shows up in her belongings. She did not bring it with her. She lost it outside his front gate. There is only one explanation for how it got back to her. Cecilia starts to say it out loud. Adrian was a world leader in the field of optics. He spent his career developing technology that bent light, manipulated vision, made things appear and disappear. What if he did not die? What if he built something? What if he is here right now, in this room, and she simply cannot see him? She goes to James, she goes to Tom, she goes to Emily. She tells them all the same thing. Nobody believes her. Tom tells her, gently but firmly, that Adrian's genius was never about technology. It was about getting inside people's heads, making them doubt themselves. That was always his real gift. And what better way to torture Cecilia than from beyond the grave, by making her believe he faked his own death. The reasoning is kind. It is also exactly what Adrian would want her to hear, because then things get worse. One night, alone in the house, Cecilia hears something upstairs. She follows the sound to the attic, and there she finds it. Adrian's phone, hidden in the rafters. She picks it up and looks at the photos. He has been in her room while she slept. He photographed her. There are images she did not know existed, taken in the dark while she was completely unconscious and unaware. And there is a text message on the phone. One word, surprise. She grabs the phone and runs. He attacks her in the kitchen. She cannot see him, but she can feel him. And the fight that follows is violent and desperate and terrifying, because she is throwing punches at empty air, and some of them land and some of them get caught, and she barely escapes the house alive. She gets out. She gets to a car. She gets away. But she came back from that house with something else she did not expect, because she had gone back there looking for proof, and she found it. In the lab, she found the suit. It is covered in tiny cameras, hundreds of them, arranged across every surface. Each camera picks up what is directly behind the wearer and projects it onto the opposite side in real time, seamlessly, creating a perfect living image of the background with nothing in the middle. The person wearing it does not disappear. They just become a window. Adrian did not use magic or science fiction. He used optics in real technology, the kind that already exists in military research, pushed further than anyone else had taken it. She hides the suit inside the same closet cubby she used for her getaway bag the night she escaped. She does not take it with her. She needs it to stay there. She calls Emily. She needs to show her the photos from Adrian's phone. She asks her to meet for dinner, somewhere public, somewhere safe, a restaurant full of people. Emily comes. Cecilia pulls out the phone to show her what she found. The phone is gone, taken from her bag while she sat there. And then Emily's throat opens. Right there at the table, no warning. A cut that appears from nowhere while Cecilia is watching. Emily collapses. The restaurant erupts. Cecilia is covered in her sister's blood and screaming that he is there, he is right there, he did this. And no one can see anything except a woman who just watched her sister die and is now pointing at empty air. Cecilia is arrested, charged with murder, deemed a danger to herself and others. She is placed in a psychiatric facility while the investigation continues. She is completely alone. He put her there. And now she cannot leave. Inside the facility, she learns one more thing. The blood test she took at the hospital, the one after she fainted, showed she was pregnant. She had been secretly taking birth control for years. Adrian, Tom tells her during a cold and calculated visit, had known about that too. He replaced her pills with placebos. He engineered the pregnancy deliberately. She only thought she was protected. He was always going to find her, no matter what he had to do. He needed her because she was the one person who had ever left him. No one had done that before, and he was not going to allow it. Tom lays out her options with the warmth of a man reading a lease agreement. She can fight the murder charge and lose the trust money, which also means Sydney loses the Parsons tuition fund Cecilia had set up for her. Or she can sign away the money, go back to Adrian, have the baby, and get her life back. A life just like her old one. Cecilia tells Tom exactly what she thinks of him and his brother, and then she starts making a plan. That night in her cell, she hides a stolen pen. When the orderly comes to check on her, she uses it to stab her own wrist, not deeply, just enough to bleed. She says it out loud to the dark before she does it. You will not get the baby, and you will not get me. The moment the guard responds to the blood, Adrian reveals himself trying to subdue her. The suit flickers in and out as she stabs at it. It is real. It is here. And now, there are witnesses. Adrian fights his way through the facility, taking out every guard between him and Cecilia with brutal efficiency. At least one guard does not survive. Cecilia grabs a weapon and escapes into the rain, chasing the flickering shape through the parking lot. He gets to her first. He slams her against an ambulance and tells her exactly what he is going to do next. Since she chose to fight him, he says, he is not going to hurt her. He is going to find someone she loves and hurt them instead. He drives away. Cecilia steals a car, calls James from the road, and tells him to get to Sydney. Right now. Do not wait. Go. James gets home. The back door is already open. Sydney is not safe. What follows inside that house is one of the most disturbing fights in the film, because James is a trained police officer, and he cannot land a single hit, and the invisible force inside his home nearly beats him to death while his daughter watches and screams. Cecilia arrives and opens fire. She shoots the shape 4 times in the chest. The suit sparks and fails. The body hits the floor. She pulls the mask off. It is Tom Griffin, the lawyer, the brother, the man who told Cecilia, calmly and repeatedly, that she was not being stalked by an invisible man. He was the invisible man. He was wearing the suit every single time. Adrian is found in his own basement, tied up, apparently a victim of his own brother, who apparently went rogue and did all of this alone. And the police believe it. The evidence supports it. Tom is dead. Adrian is the surviving, grieving family member who was just as much a victim as anyone else. James pulls Cecilia aside. He tells her this is her best-case scenario. Tom did everything. Adrian is the victim. If she accepts that version, she walks free. He asks her to let him do his job. Cecilia agrees. And then she calls Adrian. She asks to meet, just the two of them, dinner at his house. She tells him she wants to move forward, that she wants their child to have a real life, that she knows what Tom did, and she is ready to let go of the past. Adrian is shaking when he opens the door. He has food laid out for every possible preference, sushi and steak and pasta, because he spent so long obsessing over what she might want that he covered all of it. And he tells her she is the only person who gets to see his hands shake. She sits across from him. She tells him the only way forward is the truth. She says she needs to hear him say it, just to her, just this once, that it was him, not Tom. She cries. She says she cannot start this new life on a lie. She says she just needs to know she is not crazy. Adrian leans in close. His voice drops to almost a whisper. He tells her he knows she feels like she is going insane sometimes, but that he is the only one who can help her. He always has been. He touches her leg as he says it. A gentle, possessive, deliberate touch. And something shifts in Cecilia's face. The tears stop. The trembling stops. Something cold and very clear settles in behind her eyes. She looks at him for a long moment. Then she excuses herself to the bathroom. And Adrian stays at the table, completely satisfied with himself. He has said all the right things. He has played the victim perfectly. He is certain he has won. What Cecilia does in that bathroom is quiet and deliberate. She retrieves the suit she hid at his house weeks earlier, tucked in the same secret cubby she used for her getaway bag the night she escaped. There were always two suits. Tom wore one. This is the other. She puts it on, she becomes invisible, and she walks back out into that dining room. Adrian does not see her coming. The security cameras do, though. They record everything that happens next, and what they show is this. Adrian Griffin, alone at his dining room table, suddenly grabbing a knife and slashing his own throat. No one else in the frame. A man destroying himself for no visible reason, alone in his own home. Cecilia steps back out of camera range, removes the suit, and walks back into view. She screams. It is a perfect scream. She fumbles for her phone and calls 911, voice breaking, begging them to hurry, reporting what the cameras already appear to show. She hovers over him just long enough, and then, for just a fraction of a second, when she is certain no camera can see her face, she lets it go. Every last bit of the performance. What is underneath is not grief. It is not triumph either, exactly. It is something quieter and colder and entirely her own. She waits for him to stop moving. Then she composes herself and walks out of the house with a large bag. The invisible suit is inside it. She takes it with her. James is waiting outside. She tells him Adrian killed himself. James looks at her. He asks her quietly what it sounded like in there to her. She looks back at him. She says it sounded a lot like he killed himself, and James nods. She walks away into the night. The architect of her own freedom. The woman who survived a man who tried to make her disappear by learning to disappear herself. She goes home. So, what did you think of this story? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this recap, make sure to like and subscribe for more full movie recaps. See you in the next one.